Still hiding your confidence because your outfit isn't doing the talking? My name is Wuraola Ubaka. I am called your profitable fashion coach because if your business isn't making money, why are you even in business? At Wura, we don't just make clothes. We create statements. Our timeless ready-to-wear pieces are created for the woman who walks in grace, owns her space, and turns heads effortlessly. And if you are a fashionpreneur struggling to turn your talent into real income, especially if you are stuck in bespoke and want to transition to ready-to-wear, the Profitable Fashionpreneur Academy is your next step. We teach fashion creatives how to structure, scale, and sell profitably. From the woman who wears it to the woman who makes it. Confidence and profits go hand in hand. Wura dresses you. The PFA builds you. So come, join the movement. Wear confidence and build profits with Wura and the Profitable Fashionpreneur Academy. Welcome to another episode of My Profitable Fashionpreneur Journey. Today, we'll be meeting yet another profitable fashionpreneur who will be sharing her journey through the PFA Ready to Wear Bootcamp. My name is Wuraola Ubaka, and I am called your one and only profitable fashion coach. Because if your business is not making money, why are you even in business? Now, through the course of the month, we have been meeting several profitable fashionpreneurs who have been sharing their incredible journey who have been sharing their incredible journey in the PFA Ready to Wear Bootcamp, aka the Profit Circle. And tonight, we are going to be meeting another profitable fashionpreneur. My name is Wuraola Ubaka, and I am called your one and only profitable fashion coach. Because right here in the Profit Circle and right here in the PFA, we say that if your business is not making money, aka making profits, why are you even in business? The PFA Ready to Wear Bootcamp has been in session since the 1st of September 2025, and we are just at the eve of the first cohort. We're rounding up and we're actually starting a new cohort on the 1st of November 2025. Hooray! And we're so excited. You know, a lot of people are already sitting pretty in that cohort, and we can actually wait to welcome all the new entrepreneurs, all the new fashionpreneurs, all the new people who are ready to move from point A to point B, who are ready to actually make a shift in their fashion businesses. And that is why we are here to meet yes another profitpreneur. So while we wait for her to join us, I want to actually quickly delve into a topic by asking you a quick question. If you stopped sewing custom orders today, would your fashion business still make money? Would it still make money? Even as you are sewing the custom orders, have you considered all the elements that constitute money, that constitute profits? I always like to look at profits through three lenses: through the time wealth, social wealth, and financial wealth. Not just through the lens of financial wealth. Because you can be in a business that is giving you a lot of financial wealth, but it's taking all your time that you are not able to actually put time into any other aspect of your life. And you can be in a business that is giving you time wealth, and it's not giving you the opportunity to actually have social wealth. Put yourself indoors, in rooms where, put your product in rooms where you have never even been to. Build connections, build social connections with people. And so when we look at wealth in the context of the Profitable Fashionpreneur Academy, we don't just look at wealth through the lens of financial wealth. We look at wealth through many other lenses. And this is why we are able to create a holistic approach, a holistic outlook to the way we actually approach the issue of wealth, the issue of making money, and the issue of actually multiplying that money. When you come into the PFA Profit Circle, the first thing we make you understand is that so often we have a misplaced understanding of what profits are. Many times we think that profit is in how much we make. But when you come into the academy, you would see that profit has a multifaceted component. It's not just in how much you make, it's in how many leaks you block. You can be making so much money in sales, but yet you are bleeding the money in poor systems, you're bleeding the money in theft, you're bleeding the money in wrong hires, you're bleeding the money in over bloated inventory. There are so many things, so many components to your profits. And these are the things that we actually take our time to take you through a thematic nature. The PFA is the blueprint. It is actually the blueprint for the person who wants to launch a ready-to-wear brand with confidence and clarity. And I dare say that you will not find another program with the same level of depth, with the same level of insight, and with the same level of teaching and learning experience that you would find in the PFA Ready to Wear Bootcamp. So now let's talk about transitioning. If you may not already know, I am the founder and creative director of Wura. And Wura is a Nigerian ready-to-wear fashion brand that makes classy dresses for confident women. Here we are focused on classy dresses that fit just right, classy dresses that are just right for confident women. And Wura wasn't always a ready-to-wear brand. Wura first started out as a bespoke brand. We first started out making dresses for one customer at a time, for one person at a time. That was how we started out. But after running Wura for about 9 years, I realized that there was something not quite right with the system I was running. I wasn't creating, so I was in business, but I wasn't creating a legacy. I was just running from day to day. And I had to ask myself that, is this what I'll pass on to my children? Is this what I would move? Is this what I would actually transfer to somebody else? And I realized that this is not it. This was not it. If I actually run this business like this, I will not be able to have anything to transfer. And this was the thing that sent me searching. I was like, how do I make this business that I'm doing actually live beyond me? And I remember one of the first mentors I had, she had talked about great Nigerian companies like Leventis. Who knows Leventis? Leventis that year was the company. It was, you were buying Leventis bread, Leventis this, Leventis this. But somehow Leventis just folded up. And it was because Leventis had no succession planning. Leventis had a business, but they had no succession plan. And so what happens is that once the CEO is gone, the business fizzled out. It's like the business never existed. And that was exactly what actually happened with Leventis. So I said, okay, how do we create these systems that actually prevent these things from happening? How do we put ourselves in systems that prevent these things from happening? And that was why, you know, we started actually, yes, you remember Leventis, right? Yes, Leventis was that company that everything was Leventis this, Leventis that. But Leventis fizzled out. Nobody hears of Leventis. We don't even know who they are. We don't even know who the founders were. And that's how great companies can fizzle out without proper structure, proper planning, and proper succession planning, building a legacy from your business. So when you come into the PFA, we put you on that path of succession planning. We put you on that path to say, this is how you should be thinking about your business. Because if you don't think about your business in this way, your business may actually never live beyond you. In fact, what am I saying outlive you? Your business may die while you're still alive. And that's the truth. I remember reaching out to someone over an issue, and she was saying, you want to put all this into teaching people fashion? I was like, yes. And she was like, I don't think it's worth it too. Because a lot of people don't see fashion as anything important. They see fashion as something that they do because they don't have a job, they don't have what to do, and it's just the easiest thing to start. So they just get a machine and they just get a tailor, and then they start. And then the moment they have a job, or that set of circumstances that made them start the fashion in the first place changes, they just leave it and they go. And I said, well, yes, I agree with you that that's the narrative, but people can't do better because they don't know better. When you know better, you actually do better. And so I know that it is possible to raise fashion entrepreneurs that are actually truly profitable, because I have been there. I have been there. I have actually been there. I have been in the place where I didn't even know I wasn't profitable. And I'm now in the place where I know that, okay, now I am actually turning a profit. So I know that it is possible. And I know that it is possible to raise fashion entrepreneurs that see um, fashion as more than just a business. They actually see it as more than just a hustle or a hobby. They see it as a business, as a way of livelihood, as a way to actually um, earn a living. And so these were the things that actually made us start the Profitable Fashionpreneur Academy. And through the course of the 90 days of the first cohort, we have had people who have successfully, you know, planned. We now have a mentee who is launching a fashion brand on the 9th of November in Owerri. We have some who have been able to standardize their business processes, start the path. We have people who have now even been able to say, oh, let me even go in and look into my system and say, what is going on here? How do I make this a business? How do I make this move from hustle mode to business mode? We have people who have successfully incorporated companies, not because they didn't know they could incorporate companies, but because they weren't even in the place where they were thinking that this fashion business could be that company that is growing big, that you can incorporate. And so the mindset shifts that happens within the PFA is not something that we can share. It's something that you have to experience to understand. Because when you come into the PFA, you would realize that almost there are levels to this thing, because there are indeed levels. And so over the next course of a few minutes, I'll be sharing on a 5-step ready to wear start roadmap. Now, many people, when you ask them, why do you want to start ready to wear? They say, okay, I'm tired of sewing for one person. I want to be able to move. I want to be able to scale. I want to be able to do this. I want to be able to do that. And then what happens? They just start sewing. They say, oh, top and trousers are raining now. They start sewing top and trousers. Oh, skirts are raining now. They start sewing skirts. Oh, this is raining now. They start sewing. And then they start putting it out. And then when they don't see sales, they're like, what's going on? I thought they said this ready to wear business has money. Why am I not seeing sales? But let me give you 5 steps that you can actually do before you start your ready to wear brand. The first thing you want to do is define your vision and your niche. How do you find your vision? You need to know why you want to do this business. Is it just because you don't have money? Is it because you're broke? Because if that's why you want to do it, when you're rich, you're going to leave it. Or is it because they told you that there was money in it? If that's why you want to do it, when you go into it and you see that something is, the math is not batty, you want to leave it. So, beyond all the superficial reasons, you need to go deep and ask yourself, what did I see? What did I hear? What was the gap that I saw in the industry? What do I want to feel? What do I want to, what difference do I want to make in the world with this thing that I want to do? You need to be able to ask yourself the hard questions. That's the first thing you want to do. So you want to define what your vision is, and then you want to be able to define, who your niche is. Who are you called to serve? Most times when you ask people who want to go into it, so who do you want to serve? Who do you want? They say, oh, anybody. I just want to make everybody look beautiful. I just want to make women look beautiful. I just want women to just look fine. I just want you to just come out and you just be looking fine. And so you now make things for every woman to look fine. But the question that you should ask yourself is that, can you really make every woman look fine? Even in your house, if you have a child, a daughter, even a small daughter, I have a toddler. Okay, she's not a toddler, she's a preschooler, so she's 4. But even me, there are some days I can't make her look fine, because my idea of her looking fine and her idea of her looking fine are two different things. So there are days that even as her mother, she knows exactly what she wants. So if I say I just want to make everybody look fine, and I'm not focusing on one person to really have a deep understanding of this person, how am I going to be able to create things that meet her need? How will I do that? And that's actually where the PFA comes in. You see, when you come into the PFA Ready to Wear Bootcamp, we take away all that confusion of I want to do everything for everybody. We take it away. The first thing you take out of the bootcamp is clarity. You have a clear picture of who, you have a clear picture of why, you have a clear picture of what, you have a clear picture of when. If there is anything that you take away from the PF Ready to Wear Bootcamp, it is clarity. You can't come into the bootcamp, go through the implement the exercises, and come out at the end of 90 days without clarity. It's just not possible. Unless you're not implementing, unless you came there to just say, they say this thing is good, let me come and see what they are doing inside there. If you came there to see what they are doing inside there, you will come there and you will not be able to implement. So you need to actually now know that, okay, this is what's happening, this is how they are doing it. You need to be able to know that, okay, if I don't double down to say this is the person, or this is how I'm going to cater to this person, you're just going to make things that don't meet anybody's needs. And at the end of the day, guess what? Money is an exchange for value. And the only way you can provide value to someone is that you actually know the person, and you know the person's needs, you know the person's pain, and you position yourself to meet those needs and pain. You don't actually position yourself, or you don't understand the person, you can't create value for that person. It's really that simple. And even that is still part of, yes, that's part of fashion. If you don't know who you want to serve so that you know what value to create, you can't create that value. So your niche is not a cage, it is a compass. It tells the world what you stand for. So you need to choose one niche, one core aesthetic language, one simple thing that describes who you are. You need to be able to say in simple terms, I make women feel more confident by creating so and so for them. You need to be able to describe who your customer is so that she can see the transformation that living in your brand, living in your dress will bring to her. Because at the end of the day, you're not selling clothes, you're selling a feeling, you're selling a transformation, you're selling a joy, you're selling peace, you're selling confidence, you're selling remembrance, you're selling celebration, you need to know what you're selling, and it is not clothes. But if you don't know the pain of that woman, you will not know what to sell to her. If you don't know what keeps her up at night, what she struggles with, you will not know what to sell to her. Yes, exactly. When you don't know who you serve, you won't be able to provide value. It's really that simple. Who are you providing the value for? You want to provide value for 4-year-old, for grandmother, for midlife person. For you want to provide value for everybody, only you. So the first thing you want to do is actually determine who you are serving, and that's why the Bible tells us that where there is no vision, the people perish. If your business does not have a vision, it will perish. No be me talk am. It's a principle. So vision is very important. That's the first thing you want to do. You want to be able to clarify what your vision is. Then you want to create a signature for your brand. Every successful ready to wear brand starts with one signature idea, a signature piece, a design that defines their aesthetic. When you look at my brand page, Wura, you know the aesthetic of the brand. You know who we are selling to. You know who we are catering for. You know what we stand for. There are some things you will never see on Wura. You will never see it on my page. There are some trends you will never see because we have a deep understanding of our customer. We have a deep understanding of where she is per time and her situation in life per time. So something may be the trend, but we're not going to carry it because we know our woman. It will die on our rack. And our woman knows us. We have created a signature by which if she sees us, she's able to, that's Wura, that's Wura. And so as you're going into your ready to wear brand, you need to be able to have your signature piece. Say, okay, this is the signature thing that we stand for. This is the piece around which every other piece is built. The whole brand should cascade from that signature piece so that when we see it, because you see, when we talk about branding, we think that branding is by doing a logo, colors, this, that. Branding is about the fabric of your brand. It's about like it's deep. It's like it's the heart, the soul, the spirit. What's that thing that is prevalent? Do you want to sell to royalty? How is that signature piece signifying that this brand is for royalty? I'm selling to royalty. Have you thought about how the royals live, how they dress, how the kind of clothes, the kind of fabrics they show up in, all those things? Those are the things you will now use to say, okay, let me triangulate this and create a signature piece. So that by the time I start creating other designs around this signature piece, they can actually be cohesive. They can tell a common story. They can run through a common fabric. They can run through a common thread. So if you are not able to do this, create that signature piece, you're just creating random things. Then you do this one. No, you do this one. That's one. Nothing that resemble another thing. Everything is different. Nobody can identify you. You just get lost. And that's why many times when people start ready to wear brands, they just fall by the wayside because they just got lost. So you want to create a sample signature piece. How do you do that? You can't hear. Um, are you sure it's not from your end? Okay, let's see. All right, can you confirm that you can hear me now? Okay, it's your network. Okay, can you confirm that you can hear me now? All right. Okay, let's move. So you need to choose. How can you create a signature piece? You need to go back into your systems, especially if you're someone who is maybe trying to transition. You need to say, okay, what is that thing that is a common thread? So for instance, when Wura was a bespoke brand, I was never a brand who followed trends. So even though people would bring their fabrics, I would still design based on my own aesthetic. And so my designs were always in a certain way, in a certain class. And that was what kept my customers coming back. And so when Wura transitioned to ready to wear, I knew that fabric of my brand that was, an elevated feel, a timeless feel. I wanted to retain it. And so um I made one design which was my signature piece. And that design, from the first time we went into ready to wear in 2019, that design is selling till today. That design is selling till today. And that's how you know you have created a good signature piece. Because if you create a good signature piece that actually embodies what your brand stands for, that piece is going to continually be there. It will continually sell. It will just always be there. It will just always be there. It will continually sell. One moment, please. So it will actually continually sell. So you want to be able to create that signature piece. So look into your existing system, see what works. And this is for people who are already in the fashion business. They're already running bespoke brands, but they're trying to they're trying to transition. So look into your system, see what works, and say, okay, how can I rework this thing to make it marketable, to make it repeatable, to make it something that is timeless, something that I can continually reference. I can use as an anchor point for every other thing I do in my brand. How can I create that system? So you want to choose one piece that your clients already love, you're already in business. And if you're just starting, you want to actually say, okay, by the time I remember, we started with a vision and we started with identifying who this person is. You want to say, okay, now that I've identified this person, how do I now go about it? How do I figure out what she wants? And so you actually do your research. You actually do your research, actual research. Part of this research are the things that we teach in the ready to wear bootcamp. How to actually go about finding out what that your customer wants. Now, once you found that out, you want to now create a piece based on your market research outcomes, and then use that pitch as a signature. When you create that signature piece, now we're on step 2. When you create that signature piece, you are now testing the market with that signature piece, testing your ideal customer base, because remember, it is still an idea. So you want to now test run this idea to see if this idea is actually making sense, if this idea is actually going to yield the results that you want. Now, when you have done that, depending on the feedback you get from testing the market, you will now know, okay, maybe we need to go to the drawing board. The people that I thought would actually, this thing will resonate with, it's not resonating with them. And why this is so key is that I think it was, for me, one of the biggest root shocks I had when I first started with my ready to wear brand. You see, when you start sewing generally, you're bursting with ideas. Like, you will, in the night, you will not be able to sleep. Like, you'll just be sleeping. You'll be sleeping, you will start thinking of styles, you will get up, you start sketching. You're just full of ideas. And sometimes when you sketch that thing, you say, this is the dress. This one, when I do this dress, you will now do the dress. You will not put it out there. You will not send it to people, friends and family. Nobody will buy. Nobody will buy. I think that was the first rude shock. That was the first rude shock I got, coming into the ready to wear space. The fact that if you don't have an understanding of who you're selling to, nobody go see you. Even that your friend and family. And that's why sometimes when I hear people say, hey, my family, they don't buy from me. My friends, they don't buy from me. They always buy from other people. I used to, let me not say I used to complain. I didn't used to complain, but I used to wonder about it when I first started. And then I started saying, if they are not buying from me and they are buying from other people, it means that there's a level of value that I am yet to communicate, or I'm yet to actually produce. So I needed to go into my systems and say, how do I now create this value that will make them buy from me? Nobody is ready to dash you money because you're their sister or you're their friend. They may give you the first time to just help you. You just started a brand, let's just promote it. But what keeps them coming back is the value you give. Make no mistakes about it. And it doesn't matter who you are. Friend, sister, auntie, uncle, you're not giving value. Ain't nobody seeing you. Ain't nobody parting with their hard-earned coins for you. Nobody is going to do that just because you came and you started a ready-to-wear brand. The reason why they would patronize and keep patronizing your ready-to-wear brand is because you are giving value. So once you create that signature piece and you have gone to market, if the market is not coming back to you the way you want it to come back to, have the humility to go back to your drawing board. And that's where many times you miss it. You just stay there, you're just like, okay, maybe if I market more, maybe if I do ads, maybe if I, it's like putting lipstick on a pig. It's not going to yield results. So if you are trying to do test step 2 and you see that the results are not okay, you need to go back to your drawing board. It means that that's your clarity. You haven't gotten it. You haven't gotten it, or if you have gotten it, you are not communicated it. So there needs to be a balance. You need to get the clarity and then you need to also communicate it. So that's what you need to do. So you go back and you do that. Now, on the flip side, you take that your signature piece that you have created that has the fabric of the things that you want running through your business. If it is confidence you're trying to sell, it looks confidence. If it is joy, if it is celebration, if it is freedom, whatever it is you're trying to sell, that signature piece embodies your core values. You see, when we are talking of fashion business, when you talk of general business, you're like mission, vision, this core values. All these things will be inside your design. No, there'll be your designs, there'll be your processes. They're not abstract concepts. Your values are not abstract concepts. They must run through the entire fabric of your brand. So once you've created that and that piece speaks to all the aspects that you want the customer to actually know, like, and understand about your brand, the next thing that you want to do is now say, okay, let me create a capsule collection. Because you now have something that you have tested, that is a foundation that you can use to build on. You say, okay, let me create a capsule collection. Sample, small capsule collection. Don't go crazy when you start. That's a mistake. Don't go crazy. Don't go and say, oh, I have so much money, I'll go to China, I'll just do box. Let's just calm all the way down. So when you start, you want to start with a small capsule, because again, we want to hear what the market is telling us. And if you fit, just imagine when you go to, let's say you go to the market, the regular market, and you go without a list. But you go into a provision store, and that provision store only sells things for, or maybe you go into a specific store like a baking store, and it only sells baking things. So that thing, it has already streamlined you. You say, okay, I want to bake, so I'll just get this, get this, get this, get this. Now, because you're just coming into the market, you don't want to start with a big inventory that will just come. We'll see 100 designs you have landed, but we don't know who you are, because your designs are so varied that we cannot pick. That your signature piece has now gotten lost. So no, we don't want to do that. We want to start with 3 to 5 simple capsule pieces that capture the essence of that signature piece. So you've captured the essence of your signature piece and you're cascading it along 3 to 5 pieces, of designs. You're creating a small batch collection. Again, that small batch collection is still testing the market. You're still testing the market with that small batch collection. So that small batch collection you're creating should have the same DNA. There should be like mama and papa, people wey comot for the same family. Make e no look like one person na black, one person na Caucasian, one person na European, another Arab. You want to be able to make those looks cohesive. Will that be the same? No, but there should be a link. There should be cohesiveness. There should reinforce your story. So if you have For instance, a fringe dress. The fringe represents freedom, sustainability, this, that. You want to now cascade this within 3 to 5 dresses. So you have something sustainable here. You use cotton that is sustainable. You mix it in with some other sustainable pieces. So you want 3 to 5 collections that speak to sustainability. So that when people are seeing that those 3 to 5 pieces in your collection, you're like, okay, this person is talking about sustainability. This person is talking about a sustainable fashion brand. So we're talking about five five things you should keep in mind if you're starting your ready to wear brand. A 5-step ready to wear start map. That's what we're talking about. We're supposed to be meeting Racheal Ewesor this evening, but she's having network issues. She has communicated, she's unable to come on. So we move. We move because there's always something to teach and there's always something to learn. And if we've said we are here by 9 p.m., we are here by 9 p.m., whether our guest is here or not. Tomorrow we'll still continue with another guest on My Profitable Fashionpreneur Journey series. But we always understand that, of course, we are all humans and we may all plan for something to happen, but things may happen along the line. And so we give that um leeway, that concession. But either way, when you come on my live, you must go home with something. So we are talking about the 5-step ready to wear start map. And I have said the first step one you want to do is that you want to define your vision and your niche. Step two is that you want to define your sample signature. You want to have a signature piece that you want to sample, show other people, see if it is speaking to what you want people to know about your brand. When people come in contact with your brand, what's that one word you want them to be able to take away? You want that signature piece to be able to embody it. And then based on the feedback from the signature piece, if the feedback is good, you know that okay, you can go ahead and expand on this, create a small capsule collection. And if it's not good, then you need to go back to the drawing board. Ask yourself, where is there a misalignment? Where is my vision not matching what I'm trying to sell? Okay, this thing I'm trying to sell, is there a gap in the market? Am I selling to a market that has no gap? Did I see a problem that doesn't really exist? You need to now go back and do all these exercises. But now we are assuming that we have done this exercise and it actually pays off. So people are resonating with your signature piece. And so we are on step 3. We are now saying, okay, now move from that to creating 3 to 5, you know, designs that form a small capsule collection. And I've said when you're starting, you don't go crazy, you don't do 10 million things, you don't do 100,000 things, you just do a small batch collection. Why? Because you are testing the market. You want to know what the market is telling you. You want to gather data. You want to document. You want to know what you are actually looking out for so that you see whether that image you have in your head is actually reality. And I've said how, when I first started, I used to do dresses that were so beautiful in my head, but they will come out, I will market, nobody will buy. Nobody will buy because there was that lack of clarity. So until I started actually studying the patterns, going into the systems and seeing, oh, this is why, that was when I was now able to actually create something that was something people looked forward to. So once you've been able to create that small batch collection and that collection has a resonation, and please, when I say something that resonates with people, it's not when someone say, this dress is so beautiful, wow, nice, nice. When I say resonate, I want that people open their wallet and give you their coins. This is the Profitable Fashionpreneur Academy. We talk about money here. We're not afraid to talk about money because your business must make money, must make profits. So it's not that when I say test run, it's not that you not test run, they'll not say, oh, wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Nobody will buy. No. If that's all that happened when you then saw the collection, that means that there's still something missing. We want people to say, oh my God, I wonder how much is it, and then actually pay. That's when you know that you have something that is sellable. The moment one person pays you for something, the moment one person pays you for something, and not someone who was throwing a pity party for you and just say, let me just help you, let me just pity this your ministry, let me just, The moment someone actually genuinely pays you for something because they understand the value that you brought with that thing, they understand that, oh, this dress will take me to this wedding. You can find 1 million people to pay you for that thing. I always say all you need is one person. When you get that one person, you study the patterns, you understand, you reset what is the thing that made this person pay, and then you replicate more of those things. That's the way it works. So now you have created your 3 to 5 capsule pieces. You are now going to test them again. The beginning of business is market survey, testing. Don't be so arrogant that you cannot come down to test. That is the 5 step of your ready to wear is brain work and testing. You must think, you must document, you must reflect, you must test, you must, and all these things I'm telling you are skills that we teach in the PFA Ready to Wear Bootcamp. You see, in the bootcamp, we're not just teaching you how to run a fashion business. We are teaching you how to think. Because we have so many fashion entrepreneurs that are using their hands, but they are not using their head. And if you use your hands as an entrepreneur, as a matter of fact, without using your head, you'll be busy, but you'll be busy doing nothing. You'll be busy without growth. And that's why we teach you how to think, how to strategize, how to read the market, how to study the patterns. Because that's the difference between great profitable companies and companies that fizzle away. They study the patterns. And if you're too busy being a solopreneur, bent over the machine, you may not have the ability to study the patterns if someone is not guiding you, because you are so busy. But when you are busy and someone is like, you need to be thinking about this and that and that, it makes you more aware, it makes you more conscious, it brings certain things which you may never have thought of to your subconscious. And that is what we actually do at the PFA Ready to Wear Bootcamp. We make sure that you are thinking of your business every day, because the bootcamp is structured in a way that you have a daily tool and a daily task and a daily implementation plan and a daily reflection plan. So you are reflecting, you're thinking, you are implementing. So before you want to now go ahead to make 100 of that your capsule collection, you want to test it. You want to test it with your current clients. You want to test it with people who actually who actually fit into the narrative of the woman you're trying to sell to. You want to be able to put that product in front of those people and see if those people are seeing what you are seeing. If those people are catching the rema that you caught, you know that rema that you call, hey, glory, glory. You want to put that product in front of those people to see if they are catching the rema. And again, the only way you know they catch the rema is that they open their wallet and give you their coins. It's not like people telling you. And I say this so much, because particularly in the fashion space, you see, when you look at other product businesses, say you're selling hair care, or you're selling soap, or you're selling beauty products, it's easy for you to know if people don't like it. If people don't like it, they don't buy. They don't even tell you, oh, it's nice, it's nice. How would they say it's nice? They have to actually buy it to know it's nice, right? But with fashion, it's a very thin line, because people can see something and say, oh, this is so beautiful, but they will not buy it because that's not something they will even wear. And so it's easy to get lost in it's nice noise. It's easy to get lost. It's easy to get carried away with, oh, beautiful, wonderful, this is so nice. You just be going. Very easy to get lost. And that's why you must be paying attention. You must be paying attention. So when you launch that first capsule, we're on step 4 now. You want to offer limited pre-order samples to people. If you're transitioning, people who were in your bespoke, you want to offer limited pre-order samples. You want to ask for honest feedback. When you're asking for feedback, you're not just saying, so did you like the dress? No. You're collecting data. How was the fit of the dress? How was the feel? How did you feel when you wore this dress? How was the comfort? How do you relate the value of the dress to the price point? You want to know what your customer is thinking. You are gathering data. Remember, we are talking about your first step for starting your ready to wear line. A 5-step, ready to wear start guide. So you want to gather the data. Your first ready to wear customers will likely not be strangers online. There will be the people who are on your WhatsApp status. There will be people who already know you, like you, and trust you, and say, okay, let me buy. This person looks like she's selling what I like. Let me buy it. So you want to be able to gather data from those people so that by the time you are now going to the strangers online, you are going with insights. You've already gathered data. You know what that your stranger's problem is. Because somewhere in your ecosystem, whether in your friend network, your office network, your church network, there's someone that is like that person that you want to sell to. So you want to now know, what is it that this person saw? What is it that this person liked? What is it that the person took away from this collection? What is the distinguishing factor about this thing that this person bought that she says made her feel a certain type of way? And it's easy, for instance, even recently, and many times you think that data is something you just collect at the beginning. The most successful companies collect data all the time. Just recently, I think about last week or so, I had a client who I noticed from our sales record that she had ordered the same thing consistently. The same thing, she had ordered it in all the colors we had. And so I said, okay, you need to reach out to her. We need to see we need to look at this design. Yes, we know why we did it, but we need to look at it through the eyes of the customer. What is it that she's seen about this design? Does it match with what we saw when we did it? Is there more? Can she expand our knowledge on what this design is? What does that do for us? It helps us know our routes to market. It helps us know how to speak about that dress when we are selling it to the next person, because we have now looked at it not just through our lens as a designer, but through the lens of the customer who is receiving the dress. Because if someone is buying 5 of the same design in different colors, you need to understand why. So as you are going in, you are studying the market. So we reach out and say, oh, we noticed you ordered this. So what is it about the design? Just curious. What is it about the design that you really love? You can feel free to do a voice note. You need to get that market data so that you can carry it, write it down, put it back in your system and say, okay, customers love this thing. So this is something I can consolidate on. So that is step 4. Step 5 is that you need to, of course, sell. So you need to now decide how you want to be able to sell those products. You need to photograph. You need to decide, before you even decide to photograph, remember we started with a vision. So you know the person who you're selling to. What kind of pictures resonate with that person? What kind of settings resonate with that person? You want to be able to answer that question so that by the time you're photographing something that is already evoking an emotion, so that when someone sees your photo or they see your video, they see something familiar that makes them stop because you were thinking of them when you were creating it. So it's not enough to just take a pretty picture that has no context. Your picture must have a context, and that context must match with the person who you want to sell to. So again, we are doing the 5-step strategy on how to launch a ready-to-wear brand. Just a simple 5-step strategy. So you want to be able to actually create a scene that matches what the person who you want to sell to will see and say, oh, this looks like me. The way they put this thing in the garden, I like flowers. They need to be able to resonate with it. So presentation creates perception. You can have the best pieces, but if you don't have a good presentation, you don't have good visuals, you don't have a good story, you will struggle to sell them. I always tell ready to wear bootcamp participants, I say the market that sells is the one that you sell. There's no such thing as a good market sells itself. I have a good market, it will sell itself, it can market. No, the market that sells itself It's the one that you actually sell. You don't sell the market, ain't nobody buying it. And that is why I give this example all the time, that look around you, look around your systems. Sometimes you have someone who maybe bakes a cake, but then you're looking for a baker and you've forgotten that your friend bakes cake. You've forgotten. Then when you now do it, she now comes for the birthday. She's like, you didn't order from me. You're like, oh, I didn't remember. Oh, and I was even looking for a baker because she was not selling the market. So you don't go in expecting that, because you are now making clothes, people will just buy. You will sell like your life depends on it, because it does. You will sell it. You will literally carry your market on your head. Because if you don't want to sell market, wait, why are you in business? What are you doing? Is it, we're not here to be creating. You just be creating, just be sewing for creative. My dear, it all ends in sales. It all ends in sales. So you must be able to determine your routes to market. How do you plan to sell? How do you plan to sell? Remember, when you're selling, you're not just selling clothes, you're selling a story, you're selling a feeling, you're selling transformation. Every outfit should tell a story. So don't just come and tell us, oh, look at this top, beautiful top. Yes, polka dots. Polka dot is just okay. When you do polka dot top, no. You would actually be selling, you should be selling transformation. Okay, this top would change the way people look at you when you step into the room. The peach color of this top evokes strength, dignity, makes you look like you will sell who that person will become. When they live in the dress, you must sell the transformation. Forget about futures. Sell transformation. That's what you sell. So once you are able to sell that transformation, you see how the market accepts it, you see your numbers, you rinse and you repeat. That's what you do. Yes, Esther, you sell like your life depends on it, because it does. So let me put this in a small checklist. If you were to do a small checklist of everything I've shared this evening, I've shared 5 things. You define your niche, you select your signature piece, you create a 3 to 5 capsule collection, you test it, you photograph it, and you sell the living daylight out of it. That's what you do. Now, if you complete this checklist and you know the way to do everything, perfect. But if everything I've said this evening is sounding like, something is not right, you're not really understanding what I'm saying, it's not really making sense, it's not balancing, then perhaps the PFA Ready to Wear Bootcamp is where you need to be. Actually, scratch that. That's not perhaps. You actually need to be in the bootcamp. In the PFA Ready to Wear Bootcamp, we teach you how to launch your ready to wear brand, how to start, how to scale, how to transition, how to make that brand profitable with confidence and with clarity. And we don't just talk the talk, we do the work. We are there every day, holding you by the hand, making it possible for you to see possibilities that you never knew existed. The PFA is an investment that will change your life. It will change the way you live, the way you think, the way you do business. And I say this with every sense of responsibility. I say it and I say it all the time. If you come into the PFA Ready to Wear Bootcamp and you implement and you do not get a transformation, you have a money back guarantee. Yes, I am that sure of the transformation that you will get if you submit yourself to the process. Very often I say that your only qualification is obedience. So if you are on this stream, you did not come here by chance. You did not stumble upon it by chance. You stumbled upon this because there was something that you were supposed to take away. The next cohort of the PFA Ready to Wear Bootcamp starts on the 1st of November 2025, on Saturday. On the 1st, we do our induction, we close the doors. You don't come in before induction by 7 p.m. on Saturday, you're not coming in again. You will wait for 3 months. And 3 months, 3 months in business is an eternity. And it is an eternity, especially when you should be going into January with clarity. Then you go into January and then you're still trying to figure it out. Can we end that in 2025? Can we move forward with clarity, with structure? That's what I want for you. And that is why I'm throwing open this invitation to you to register for the next cohort of the PFA Ready to Wear Bootcamp. If you know someone, if you stumble upon this message and you know someone who needs to be here, who needs to hear this message, who needs to see that your fashion business can be profitable. It was in my Profitable Fashionpreneur Journey series that we met someone in the PFA Ready to Wear Bootcamp who said that she had been running, or she had been living. So she had a business, she had been living, but she had never earned a living in her life. So although her mother was a tailor and she inherited tailoring from her mother, but she did not learn how to make it profitable. Talent is not enough. Money is not even enough. If you don't have the right knowledge and the right implementation systems, because even the knowledge is not enough. There's knowledge everywhere. Everywhere you turn to now, we're in a knowledge economy. But it is how to implement that knowledge. That is the gap. That's what's missing. That's why many fashionpreneurs are lost. And that is the gap we feel in the PFA. And we don't feel it by being absent. We feel it by being present daily. Daily. Every day you wake up in the academy, you will be thinking about your business. And when you come out at the end of 90 days, your business will not be the same. And that is a hill I am willing to die on. Thank you so much for joining us on the live today. And thank you so much for all those in the comment section. You have actually expressed it succinctly. Remember, the next cohort of the Ready to Wear Bootcamp starts on the 1st of November 2025. And here, right here are the details that you need to actually watch out for. So somehow my team has not been able to do this in a way that allows you. Can you see me? Hi, I'm still here. Yes. So these are the details to register. I'm also going to drop in the comment box how you can actually message. After the 1st of November, you will wait till February. You will actually wait. So you want to actually get into the boot camp now. All right. So what have you taken away from today's session? So I'm just trying to drop the details of the bootcamp in the comment section so that you have where to register. And it is also scrolling right down on the banner on your screen, so you can actually reach out to the numbers or actually check us out on our Stellar store and purchase the bootcamp, or you send a message to the number which is going to be displayed in the comment section right now, and you will be attended to. Because if you are not in the PFA Ready to Wear Bootcamp, why now? Where are you? Why now? You need to be here. So those are the details for the bootcamp. You can take a screenshot and you'll be able to actually register for the bootcamp. So as always, my name is Wuraola Ubaka. And even though we're supposed to have an episode of My Profitable Fashionpreneur Journey, which could not happen this evening, we have still been able to share some useful gems. And I hope you've been able to take away a thing or two with how you can actually go about starting a ready-to-wear brand. Tomorrow, we'll be here by 9 p.m. again, when we'll be joined by yet another profitable fashionpreneur. We'll be joined by someone else who is in the profit circle. And hopefully, this time, our network will behave. But even if the network does not behave, we will still be here, because here, consistency is a word that we live by. Thank you so much for joining us on this live, and I will see you same time, same station. So we stream on all stations: Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And we'll be here live tomorrow evening where we'll meet yet another profitable fashionpreneur. See you then. Until then, have a good evening. And for those of you who are in the profit circle, I will see you in the profit circle. Have a good night, everyone. Still hiding your confidence because your outfit isn't doing the talking? My name is Wuraola Ubaka. I am called your profitable fashion coach because if your business isn't making money, why are you even in business? At Wura, we don't just make clothes. We create statements. Our timeless ready-to-wear pieces are created for the woman who walks in grace, owns her space, and turns heads effortlessly. And if you are a fashionpreneur struggling to turn your talent into real income, especially if you are stuck in bespoke and want to transition to ready-to-wear, the Profitable Fashionpreneur Academy is your next step. We teach fashion creatives how to structure, scale, and sell profitably. From the woman who wears it to the woman who makes it. Confidence and profits go hand in hand. Wura dresses you. The PFA builds you. So come, join the movement. Wear confidence and build profits with Wura and the Profitable Fashionpreneur Academy.